Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of the Virginian and Ohio F7 build. So what I did the other day was I was really kind of deciding which parts to purchase, and when I was looking at some parts, there's certain kits came with more parts than other kits. So I kind of went through and I wrote everything down so that I wouldn't miss anything, and then I ordered a bunch of parts couple hours ago, and today is Tuesday, so this will post tomorrow night. But I found these laser kit window inserts I don't know, a month or two ago, and I put them in the original F7 build that I did, the number 261. I think it's 261. Can't remember what I numbered it now. But when I was looking at a Walther's kit, there's a Walther's kit that has the window inserts for the cab, the portholes, and for the A unit and the B unit. So I checked that off and bought that tonight. And I'm going to see what the difference is between that one and this one here and see how the windows look. And I may not use these right now because these window frames, I don't know if you can see these right here. These frames come out and get glued into this opening, of course. And then the window themselves get glued into the frame. And that sounds sexy and all, like it would really work, but it didn't the first time I did it. And maybe it was my fault. Maybe it was imperfections in the 40-year-old F7 that I worked on, and I don't really know. But I'm gonna compare the two and see what the differences are, if there are any differences. And I'll let you know which kit to purchase. That might be a lot simpler for a less experienced modeler to install and have really good looks after that. I'm not saying I'm an experienced modeler or anything, but man, these things gave me fits, and I put together a lot of stuff in my life. But we'll see about that. I still need to order spark arresters, and I got to look and see if I got firecracker antennas. Let's see, what else did I find? I have windshield wipers already, and I have a set of these that I opened, and I can't find them, so I'm probably going to have to open these up again and go with them. And you only need 2, so I mean, it's not like you need a whole lot. It's pretty easy to work with. Let's see here. I have plenty of MU cables, MU hoses, and stuff like that. These are train lines, and I use cow scale MU hoses here. And there's different types of MU hoses. You got the 3 hoses, and you got 4, and then there's a 5. It really doesn't matter which one you use, unless you're one of those rivet counter type people, and that's just perfectly fine. But I know that on the modern locomotives, there are 3 on each side of the coupler, and on the older ones, it seems like there might have been 4 or 5, and sometimes it was only 2 on one side, sometimes it was 3 on one side, sometimes it was none on there. And so it all depends on what your preference is and what your year is in your era, I guess it would be. But it's a pretty easy start that I got going here. I also dug out a headlight. In the last video, I told you that on the, I don't even think you can see this. Maybe you can see it like that. This is a Athearn headlight from a Southern Pacific Trainmaster. It's got the big headlight here, and it's got the smaller headlight. The smaller one has the twin steel beam headlights in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this off, and I'm gonna sand it, and then make it nice and smooth. And then I will take a 9/32 bit. I'll show it to you before I do it. I'll drill this out. And when I say drill it out, I'm not really going like to excess, but all I'm doing is just opening this opening up just a little bit more so that this headlight fits in all the way in. Because what it'll do now, it'll go about halfway in and it'll kind of stick. So I'll drill that out, and I'll do that in the next video, and you'll see that. And this one here, this headlight, I'm just going to set off to the side right now so I know where it's at. And then what else do I got to look for? I'm looking for a diaphragm kit right now to go in between all the 3 locomotives. And I'm also looking for the KD 450 coupler kit that will I don't know if they're going to work on that old Athearn locomotives, but I know they're made for Stewart, and they coupled a locomotive together at a scale 3 feet, which is roughly about like that. I mean, it's pretty tight. So I'm gonna work on finding those. I'll let you know something in the next video. But we're gonna go ahead and put this off to the side. We're gonna do a little work to the locomotive itself. Hey, if you don't have one of these ESU Loc Sound like locomotive maintenance pads or something, that's pretty cool. I don't know how much this costs. This is given to me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say thank you. But I didn't realize that this strip right here is magnetic. So when you set stuff down, man, it'll just sit there and won't fly off if you bump it or something. So I think that's pretty cool, because I'm quite clumsy on occasion, and there are times when I have the weirdest luck. For some reason, like the tip of my knife will sometimes just barely catch this little piece of foam and flop it around, and all my parts fly everywhere. And I'll be speaking some French on that day. Goodness. So, all right. So what we're gonna do right now is, if you watched the first video, I had talked about the seam right through here on the front, or on the top, I mean. There's a little bit of a seam here between the windshields. There's some rough areas around the windows here. There's a seam here. I'm gonna round off the 90-degree edge on this headlight, because it really wasn't 90 degrees. We're gonna take a little bit of the seam off of there and the seam off of here, and just kind of sand a little bit, make this a little bit more round. And then we're going to cut these steam boiler appliances off here. Now I'm probably just going to do the A unit on camera, and I'll do the B unit later on. And what you're going to see is I'm just going to chop this off basically with some nippers. I got these out of the at Hobby Lobby. They have a section at Hobby Lobby that deals with jewelry, and they have all these real cool little clippers and stuff like that, and they work great. So I'm going to get these, and we're going to take off the lift rings. I got those on order. Lift rings here, and then we're going to take, I don't know what this is even supposed to be. I'm going to have to do a little research on that. And then we're going to take all this off, and we're going to be mindful when you do this that you want to leave all these rivets on there. And if you accidentally, cut one off or something like that, you're probably going to be okay. And if you really want to replace it, there are you can buy these rivets by Tichy Train Group, and they're actually different size rivets. These are what, 3/100 of an inch and everything. But yeah, that's a whole lot more work and a whole lot different level of what I want to do. So we're not going to mess with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the hobby knife. This is an older one. I got a sharper one over here if I need it. But all I do is I take my file, I put a little bit more of an edge on there, and then I just scrape it off. Now I use this this old wore out hobby knife, this blade, for everything. I do decals with it, I cut with it, I do about everything, and I just keep sharpening it up. And it for whatever reason, if I use a nice new super sharp blade, I always end up cutting the hell out of myself. And we're not trying to do that today, and I don't have my level 3 cut protection gloves on. So we're just going to wing this, and if I do get cut, you're going to hear a whole lot of French, and then the camera's going to go off for a while. And that might be the whole video, because I doubt I'll even censor that out, because that's just the way I am. All right, here we go. And that's not doing very good at all. There we go. Now, even though you can still see it because it's, of course, black, but once you paint it, all that goes away. That looks pretty good. And I like working on these Bluebox models, because if I screw them up, it doesn't matter. They're not that expensive. But what it is great practice. And when you have the ability to practice on something that you're not worried about, then whenever you go grab that $300 Broadway Limited locomotive, you don't mind so much cutting on it and trimming stuff off and making it look a little bit better. And this is a heck of a little notch right here. It's crazy looking. What I was thinking about doing was building a Rock Island F7. I saw a photo of one time where they had removed the top headlight, left the center headlight on the door, and smoothed all this out. It was really crazy looking. I kind of looked like the TA locomotive that they had back in the 30s on the Peoria rockets. I thought that'd be kind of neat to build just for the heck of it. So that's not looking too good there. So I'm gonna bust out the little sanding thing. And this is pretty rough. So after you do this, you got to get you some smoother sandpaper and go over it. And once again, you know, you don't have to worry about scratching it up too much, because when you paint it, you know, it'll fill in and you won't even be able to notice that. But then again, you're not going to go crazy with it either. And you see that takes off quite a bit of material. Let's try this one. I think I like this one better. I'm going to hit this material right here on the window. Now there's nothing here that I'm doing that you probably haven't done yourself, but this video is mostly for someone who's new to the hobby, I guess, and never done anything like this. And yeah, once again, don't be afraid to try something, because there's a lot of experienced modelers out there that don't do anything but just buy stuff. And you know, I'm one of those guys sometimes, but I mean, it happens. Not too bad. I don't really like this door that they have here. I probably will go through with the sharp blade later on, probably off camera, because I'm gonna cut myself, and I'll probably just go through and I'll cut these little lines in a little bit better so you can see that door, and it don't look so shabby, I guess. If I'm sounding a little funny when I talk, that's because I got a bunch of fake teeth, and called a bridge, you know, and one of them came out yesterday, and so I got this big giant 3-tooth gap going on, and it's really difficult for me to talk and sound normal. I sound like I don't know what I sound like, but I don't sound right, but it'll be all right. I go to the dentist tomorrow. They're going to cement it back in, and everything will be good. I'll just be happy to eat again. I've been craving steak, and I can't bite into anything. It don't look too bad. Don't look too bad. I need to work on this just a little bit more. Come on, I just sharpen this thing up. There we go. No, there we don't go. What the hell? All right. Not too bad. We'll go through and use these little nippers. Start taking off these lift rings. I don't know what my time's at. I hope you're still watching. It's probably pretty boring, but all the good stuff's going to start coming next week when I start drilling holes. You're going to like that. It's quite fun. It's not as difficult as what you think. Just take your time. I don't know how I'm gonna get those. I'm probably gonna have to cut those with a knife. You're probably thinking, yeah, how's this guy gonna cut off these here? Well, I'm gonna show you in just a second. If you get a little bit of a twist in there, it comes off pretty good. Now, it might not be the cleanest, smoothest after you sand it down. It's not going to look perfect like that, but it'll look okay, and you won't see anything there, and you'll be just fine. Now, I've tried cutting these off with a hobby knife before, and that did not work very well for me. But luckily, this plastic's pretty soft. And it's not all that bad. Look at these right here. Hey, if anybody knows what this vent right here is supposed to be, let me know. I don't have any idea. I'm not an EMD aficionado. I'm not an F7 guy. It's not my favorite locomotive. I never saw any growing up except for in the storage line. Or no, I saw some F7s on the interchange track in Sullivan, Illinois. The Mopac had set them off for the Illinois Central, and they're going to scrap someplace, I think in Decatur or Springfield. This little knife ain't doing shit for me tonight, man. I have to get the sharp one out. All right. Now, what I'm about to do here is I'm gonna go ahead and cut the camera off for a few minutes. I'm gonna sand the heck out of all these spots, and I'll bring you back and show you the difference. And then we'll discuss what the next episode is gonna entail. All right, be right back. All right, welcome back to the second portion of the video. So what I did was I went through and I worked on this seam here a little bit more. I don't know if you can see that. Let's zoom in and see if we can. Yeah, I believe so. Looks a lot better than what I did when it started out. Also worked on this window around here a little bit. Took a little bit of plastic flashing off. I went through and I used the sharp blade to go over all the lip points that I cut off, and you can see how this portion turned out right here. That will that's just part of the plastic that turned white when you cut it because it bends a little bit. But you can see the difference, huge difference. And while I was off camera, I went ahead and used my pin vise, and I drilled out all the lift points, or all the lift points that the lift rings need to go into. And I got those on order too. They should all be here. What is today? Tuesday? Probably a Friday or Saturday. So I should be able to film this coming weekend the next episode and show you everything that I did. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. In the next episode, what we'll address is how to mark and drill your location for the grab irons across the nose. And also there's this little, like a toe hole that comes across here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use for that if I still have the piece for it. But basically I just use a little piece of part of an old ladder. I cut all the rungs and stuff off, and it looked pretty good. But we'll go over that. We'll go over all the parts that come in and see how they look. And maybe I can find that diaphragm kit and everything beforehand. So once again, if anybody knows what this little outlet is, it looks like a vent of some sort at the back of the locomotive. Let me know in the comments. I know this is kind of a long one, probably kind of boring, but you know, to a newer modeler, this might have a whole lot of good information in there for them. And then we'll be talking paint here soon too, so keep coming back. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want, share this video, leave a comment, come back in a few days and see what we do next.